This is the weekly sales meeting for May 4th, 2025. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, meet the new boss. When we change jobs, the expectation is always about upward mobility and greener pastures. As the old saying goes, grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. People tend to believe that others have it better than they do, even when that's not necessarily true. It reflects a common human tendency to compare one's situation to others and assume that their lives, opportunities, or possessions are superior. However, this is often an illusion. Every situation has its own challenges. Many of these are not visible from the outside. The grass is not always greener. More often than not, it's merely grass, and it's the same or worse. Now, it always looks better from the outside than it feels from the inside. Our thoughts go to where we are now, and we project that when we are looking for a change of scenery. We want this new vision of what we want until we get there. Once we are there, we find it is not much different. What existed in the last place is ever present in the new one. It may even be worse. We are so interested in a change of scenery that we fail to look out for the warning signs. We hear what we want to hear. We will ignore the rest of the sirens, whistles, and warning signs. We allow what we hear to fit the narrative we want. But the new can't hide its true colors. They will reveal themselves in short time. To prevent this impending disaster, we need to be better at asking revealing questions about day-to-day life on the upfront. We should have a litmus test to reveal the cracks in the plaster. Ask to talk to current employees. A wise man once told me when evaluating any job, ask to talk to the lowest paid employee. Here you will always get the raw truth. They have nothing to lose by telling you the real story. It will also be a red flag if you are denied this request. On the 1971 Who classic LP Who's Next, a signature anthem emerged. Pete Townsend penned Won't Get Fooled Again about the times, and how the times haven't really changed. He had been working on a project called Lifehouse. The project was fueled by the success of the rock opera Tommy. The new project was a futuristic look at the world, and how enlightenment is achieved for both the audience and the band through live music performance. The project never quite got off the ground, as only Pete could see the vision. The rest of the band and the record company could not, so it was shelved. Instead, the song was included as the closing track on Who's Next. Despite the title and the lyrics, the song is critical of both revolution and power. It alludes to the fact that you should be careful of what you wish for, as you might get it. And when you get it, you may be stuck with it. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. The original project was conceived as a multimedia experience. It would be an interaction between film, live theater, and band performances. In this futuristic society, music was banned. Most of the population lived indoors. They were confined to some post-apocalyptic dome enclosure, walking around in spacesuits. The only way to remove the suit was to have music broadcast into them, allowing them to be removed. It was all very futuristic. So it wasn't Al Gore who invented the internet. It was Pete Townsend. The music he creates has the power to restore order and harmony to the universe. Seems plausible to me, but I'm a huge fan of The Who. Won't Get Fooled Again was written as the ending for this new opera. It would come at a time when the people are free again. They come to overthrow the leadership. The harmony chord is sounded, and the government and the army fight it out for control. There's nothing in the street looks any different to me, and the slogans are effaced by the by. And the parting on the left is now the parting on the right, and the beards have all grown longer overnight. Fast forward to your next job search. Will you have blinders on and look for what fits your romantic narrative of new? Or will you dig into the process and uncover the good, the bad, and the ugly? If you are a manager, place yourself in the next interview scenario. How will you frame your company and the opportunity? Will you be honest about the reality of the situation, or will you sell the good parts and bury the negative? It is incumbent on each participant in the recruitment process to be honest at the outset. If you are the applicant, state your expectations. Don't be so attracted to the outcome that you don't ask the uncomfortable questions. If you are the recruiter, put the opportunity on the table, warts and all. Otherwise, conflict is on the horizon. It's only a matter of time. We'll be fighting in the streets with our children at our feet, and the moral that they worship will be gone. And the men who spurred us on sit in judgment of all wrong. They decide, and the shotgun sings the song. What if we are looking to change our surroundings? We should also be looking for the right fit. one that works with our current skill set and helps polish others, one that challenges us and makes us feel comfortable at the same time, one with room for growth, improvement, and longevity. As we search for employees in the current climate, it should be more about who fits in our universe than having warm bodies. We should be looking for people who fit in our current cultural environment. That is, unless we want to change that culture. If we are looking to change the culture, we should commit to that and move forward, even if we have to train them to make that happen. As Peter Drucker wrote when the cynic asks, "What if we train them and they leave?" winning organizations respond, "What if we don't train them and they stay?" We have the power to impact all of this, but we had better mean it and follow through with our plans. I'll move myself and my family aside if we happen to be left half alive. I'll get all my papers and smile at the sky, for I know that the hypnotized never lie. It has happened to me more than once. I've changed jobs. You get a call from someone, and it may be someone you know well. You get recruited away with the promise of something new and something better, yet it never comes to fruition. It was a sales pitch and nothing more. The offer does not come with a warranty. The offer came with the universal warning sign. And the universal warning sign is when someone says, "Trust me." That should be code for you are about to get bamboozled. It is akin to when someone says, "Can I be honest with you?" That means they were lying all along. The toxic traits of leadership and the promised utopia of the future are never coming to fruition. Despite what was promised or even written down, there was never an intention of the change in method. Because it is easier to cling to the historic norms than make the unpleasant changes necessary to compete in the future, which is what most companies want. They want a new person to arrive on the scene and run everything exactly as it has forever. That is comfortable. The reason the new person was hired was not to run a new set of plays, but to try and make the old ones work. But that is not sustainable or even realistic. It is akin to hiring a coach. Most coaches have a success system. That is what they do. Why would you hire a head coach with a successful system and say, "Now that you're here, this is how we do things"? The reason the problem existed to begin with was because of how we do things. Why would you hire a coach with a system and say, "Now that you're here, we want you to do it like we've always done it"? Change it had to come. We knew it all along. We were liberated from the fold. That's all. And the world looks just the same. And history ain't changed. 'Cause the banners, they all flown in the last war. "Won't get fooled again" echoes the sentiment of freedom, but the liberation alluded to in the song is about our thought process. And we have the right not to conform to the masses, when we can choose not to be fooled by the spin and the fervor placed on the grandiloquence. We can opt out. We have the right to have independent thoughts beyond the masses. We can be our own individuals. We can run in our own lane and be successful. Pete Townsend described the song as one that screams defiance at those who feel any cause is better than no cause. It is what we should say if we start to spot those cracks in the plaster. We should be willing to say, "If you don't want what I want, don't hire me. I have a way, and if you want that way, you must get out of the way. You can't get the results I represent and remain anchored to the old ways." That is hiring the coach and telling them to run the failed playbook. Each person is an individual, and that should be encouraged. We should all be looking for the right fit for our companies and our individual personalities. If the fit is right, it works for everyone. If it is wrong, everyone will be miserable. Hire the right people and the right fit. Give them the tools to succeed. Do all those things and then get out of the way. Sounds easy on paper, but it's the hardest thing to do. Former President Teddy Roosevelt said the best executive is the one who has the sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and the self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. If you are the hiring manager, hire the right people and get out of the way. Otherwise, do it yourself. Give up toxic traits like lobbing grenades from the sidelines and voting from the cheap seats. You want to be involved in every decision? Come down from your perch and stand on the front line. If you are looking for new surroundings and spot these meddling characteristics, run. Get out of there as fast as possible. It can only end poorly for both you and them. Those toxic traits of micromanagement are signs of distrust. The manager doesn't trust their own decisions. They may not have been sold on you to begin with, or they are living in fear of their own decision-making. Either way, it is set up for failure from the beginning. Pay attention to all these details when evaluating a new opportunity. In doing so, you can make sure you aren't stepping out of the frying pan into the fire. Change is hard for all involved. When making a move up or down, left or right, be sure all the planets line up to your liking. Not only should the vision be right, but the narrative should match the execution. If the new company is not willing to tell everyone your role and how you fit into the future, you may want to reevaluate this move. Everyone in the organization should know how they are impacted by your arrival. This will avoid the future friction that is sure to come from a lack of clean communication. Before your next move, take a listen to Who's Next. Get the wisdom and enlightenment first brought to us in 1971 by Pete Townsend. 50 years later, it is as relevant as ever. I tip my hat to the new Constitution. Take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around. Pick up my guitar and play, just like yesterday. And then I'll get on my knees and pray we don't get fooled again. My new book, 21st Century Sales Success, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or two. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.